How's it going, guys? My name is Joe. I'm starting a YouTube channel here called Pac Sportfishing. I'm bringing you content related to fishing in Southern California. So whether that's, trout maybe, or, offshore bluefin, whatever I'm doing, I'll bring you guys some content on it and see where this thing goes, right? I'm not promising greatness. I'm not promising regular activity, but I'll bring you stuff whenever I do it. So I wanted to do a review today on my SKB Large Tackle Box. There's not much that exists on this thing on YouTube. There's a little bit here and there, but figured I'd bring you guys some stuff. I've seen some things on Bloody Decks too, and anyways, wanted you guys to check this out. So let's talk a little bit about my relationship with tackle boxes. It's all shooter preference, right, or personal preference. I've done everything from just carry, trays and backpacks to just stuff in my pockets to whatever, right? Depending on what I'm doing or how last minute the trip is or what is going on. When I was working at Dana Wharf in high school, I just had a backpack with a tray in there. I'd put some, hooks in my pocket and some weights, and that's all I needed. Then through the years, I've done various different things. I've had, one of my favorite ones was a Shimano backpack that I still have. I put my trays in, stuff in the top, great. I loved it, it was good. One of my gripes about the soft bags though is my stuff was getting damaged occasionally. I'd drop it and I'd blow out a tray. And then I decided I wanted to do like a hard case, but I didn't want like a typical, just tackle box that you get from Walmart or whatever. So I kicked it around a little bit, and then I stumbled into like wood cases that were like vintage or older or custom made or whatever it was, right? So I fished an old Bowman, was it a Bowman? Something like that, a box that was classic. It was super rad. I bought it for like 50 bucks. Had hanging jig storage, had, I didn't use trays in it. I just, organized things in various ways. It had these little lift out organizers and stuff. Worked really good. I really liked it. Only drawback to it was wood. And so it would get wet, sure, that kind of thing. But it fell off of the sport boat's tackle shelving, and it blew out all over the deck, and the box broke and shit went everywhere, and it was a yard sale. It was bad. So I threw all my stuff in a backpack. Luckily, the trip was over. We were heading home anyways. They were cleaning the boat. But I learned some things there. I really like hard cases. I really liked having stuff organized and repeatable, and my stuff was better protected in a hard case than it was in a backpack or a rolling backpack or like any of that stuff. Here's some drawbacks to fishing a hard tackle box is people use the top of your tackle box to put their shit, and they put their rods and your rod holders. They put they put their trays up here and they get in them and stuff. And so you just got to be prepared for that and know that someone's going to come put their stuff on top of your box and you're gonna have to move it, whatever. Let's talk about some negatives of the case quickly. The first negative is how heavy you can make this thing. You load this thing with all your gear, it's heavy. This thing's gotta weigh 40 or 50 pounds. I mean, it is a heavy box. I don't know exactly what it weighs. I don't want to put a scale on it because then I'm going to be like self-conscious of how fat my tackle box is. And so that's fine. It is a big case. Like if you are only doing overnights or anything shorter than an overnight, you do not need this big of a case, flat out. It is a monster. But if you're doing long range trips or anything like that, this is a totally fine case. If you own a boat and you want everything in one tackle box from calico stuff to offshore bluefin or anything like that, a great case, perfect. That's why I own this case. I have a boat, I load this thing with everything I have. If I show up on like a buddy's boat with this thing, they never let me bring it on board. They're like, no. so be aware of that. This is a massive case. The medium is more conducive to kind of travel and stuff or whatever. Great. The small or the kayak version or whatever, I'm considering getting that for going on sport boats or buddies boats or whatever because I like the large case so much. It is an expensive case. If you're not willing to drop over $300 on a tackle box, go elsewhere. Flat out. I mean, you're not going to get these things for less than that. Unless you find one used, you might be able to pick one up used, trade a guy for it, whatever. Here's some of the things I really like about the case. Construction quality, materials they've used. It's a very well thought out case. The guy who designed it, he owns SKB Case, I think, and he's a fishing guy. He had a boat that he didn't like the tackle storage in it, so he made this. That's why it exists. So let's talk about some of the exterior features of it. So Everything that's held onto this case is held on with stainless steel fasteners. Everything. All replaceable. You can get replacement components, I assume, from SKB or come up with your own solutions. Great. The latch here, really nice, positive, latching latch, if you will, right? Nice. We know that thing's secure. You can lock it if you want. Rod holders. You got 4 rod holders in total. You got 2 on each side, you know. Replaceable Allen head stainless fasteners. The bottom fastener does not allow the rod butt to continue past the bottom of the rod holder here. They are also, you guys might actually have a hard time seeing it. It's tube of aluminum. I mean, you can make new ones if you want, put different ones on. This is a rod butt off of a CalStar rod. Goes in there just fine, you know. Exterior each side, you've got obviously your strap. Nice. This strap is as long as it gets. You don't want it any longer. It's well thought out, nice high quality. You can take it off when you get where you're going and put it away so it doesn't get all gross. Nice proper size grab handles on each side. That rubberized, nice, not gonna come off, right? Velcro pockets on each side, big enough to throw your phone and all your pocket stuff in. I put on that side, I've got like finger wrap and a koozie. This side I'll put my phone, anything that comes out of my pocket, my license, whatever. Everything goes in there nice and easy. So let's talk about the interior a bit here, right? So let's get into this thing. So this case here has plenty of storage. Like I said, you can make this thing as heavy as you want or as light as you want. There is a bit of glare here, so apologize for that. The upper storage here is intended for bigger, you know, pre-rigged lures and things like that. I don't use it for that. It's the perfect depth for the leader material I have here, which is all the Seagar stuff. The depth on this thing is just shy of 1.5 inches, but it fits these things pretty good. These little tabs to get in it, you just twist them, bring this thing down. Great, nice material here, easily, you know, used. If my leader material here gets in the way, I just like give the lid a shake and then I can close those. Not a big deal at all. The top tray here, you're able to store just about 2 inches of height here. This is the maximum width of stuff I can store. It's 2 stacked up ghost wire leader material spools. That's 2 inches right there, and you can still close the lid. So you can have stuff protrude slightly past this lid, just a bit. So that's nice. Deep storage here, pliers, all your fun stuff up here. When I'm fishing the box, I put whatever I'm gonna be using for the day, I try to put it up here. That seems to work really well. Let's talk about the hanging jig storage. So the hanging jig storage here, this is for like transportation. Don't throw it away when you buy your box. It prevents anything from like jumping out and falling down and becoming a yard sale in there. It does have a little storage slot over here you can put it in, but I just leave it in there all the time. I leave it in there, and then if I need to get something, you know, I can just grab it. Overall, you have just shy of 12 inches here. I think it's 11.5 from the top of this surface right here that the hooks go into all the way to the bottom here. So if you're worried about some things that are gonna go in there, you need to measure from the inside where the hook rests. So the inside of that curvature all the way down to the tip of it. And then you'll know if it will fit in there. So great, we got that going. The holes that are in here are properly sized. You can put, you know, several hooks in them, easy. I've never had one get snug or get trapped in there or anything like that. Can't really fit poppers or anything, but you can definitely do some smaller knife jigs. I don't put my flat falls in there. I just have all my irons in there. But that was one of the reasons I went with the hard cases. I like having hanging jig storage. Makes it easy to get to. The downside of the hanging jig storage is when you're carrying this thing around, you're gonna sound like Santa Claus. I mean, you sound like Santa Claus. So just be aware of that. Everybody's gonna hear you coming. It's part of the problem. So the lid that opens here, it's got a nice little strap on it, replaceable. You can lengthen it, shorten it if you wanted to, make a new one, whatever. but you can even take it off and get this thing to open 180 degrees. It's a nice little stop there. I've never had the need to take this thing off or any of that, so works really well. Let's get into the front. So this front access panel here, or whatever you want to call it, lid, flap, whatever, it's got a nice ball detent, a little ball that goes into this little guy. It works really well. A lot of times I'm just getting into this thing like this. I've never had this come down. If I need to just get in the bottom, you can just crack this and bring it down. Not a big deal. Nice felt on all the flat surfaces. You've got felt here, felt in the top here. 4 trays. These are the big Plano sizes here. They're about 14 inches wide, 9 inches deep, and just under 2 inches tall. So you can fit something like that in here if you want to use different trays. So it comes with 4. I really like these trays. I set them up the same every single time on all my trade boxes or bags. Nice positive, you know, locking latches here. My bottom tray is always my heaviest, which is my weights. I always carry, like I said, I have this box set up for everything in Southern California, so I have stuff all the way down to split shots, all the way up to 10 ounces and above. Egg sinkers, rubber core, torpedo stuff, whatever. I use this on my boat, so I've got enough for a whole boat's worth of people, And then next tackle tray above it is a little bit lighter, but still pretty heavy. This is all my plastics, all my artificials, all my stick baits, freaking Colt snipers, all kinds of goofy stuff in here, poppers. This is kind of what I'm bringing. I just always have it. You never know what you're gonna bump into, so I have that stuff. This tray in here, all my tackle boxes get some version of it, whether it's just a small selection or whatever's in here. Like I said, because this is kind of rigged for my boat, I've got all my trolling rigging supplies here, from swivels to beads and stuff. The most common thing I'm in here for is actually my rubber bands that are in here. Usually on the tuna trip, sometimes you need to set up a rubber band on a sinker, that sort of thing. I just throw my real maintenance stuff in here because I'm not in here that often, but all my tackle boxes also get some level of a tool box, if you will. So whether it's just getting a single tool that comes with a reel, or getting like a multi-tip screwdriver like this, it gets something. Great to have. I like having the multi-blade screwdrivers because you can fix someone's reel as required. Also like a small, flathead, something like that. So great, this one, I could totally leave this at home and be totally fine to still continue to fish. And then on top, I've got hooks. So one of the mistakes I made a while ago was I decided I was going to have a very nice organized hook box, right? So I took one of these tackle trays and I took all the hooks out of their bags and their boxes, and I put them in here, and I labeled all of them with the sizes and stuff. But I don't fish quite enough to really justify that, because what I found is, I get in and out of this box enough to where rust will start to form on some of these things, because I've got really nice, owner fly liners in here or whatever. And having things in their original packaging seems to keep the rust out, because it's a second layer of protection. Because when you're in here with wet hands grabbing another hook, now I just touched 10 hooks, or you're standing there getting in here and you get hit with spray or something like that, and everything starts to rust, So in the future, I'm probably going to get a different tray where I can just use the original packaging and not have hooks in individual items. I don't like that. But anyways, it's not a fault of SKB, it's a fault of my own. These trays, other than that, fantastic. I'm super stoked on them. So that's kind of the box in a nutshell. So like I said, this box, when it's fully loaded, 40, 50 pounds, something like that, or heavier, it's a bit of a bear. So if you're not willing to lug the thing around or make 2 trips to the boat, don't get this box, because you're gonna make it heavy. Overall, the case itself, is 20 inches wide, about 12 inches deep, and about 15.5 inches tall. Pretty big. You can fit quite a bit of stuff in there. I think we covered just about everything that I wanted to talk about with this tray, or with this box. So, hindsight, would I buy this box again? Yeah, I totally would. But it fits me, right? It doesn't fit everybody. Would I recommend this box to everyone? No, not at all. It's got a use case, you know, but I think the smaller boxes are more conducive to what guys are doing on sport boats or on their personal boat or whatever. This works for me. It works great. But I'm willing to lug it around, and I'm willing to take this thing, you know, 2 trips, whatever I got to do to bring it, I'll bring it. I think it's cool. I think it's very well made. I think it could use a couple of features, right? If I were to design a box like this, I would want some way to have wheels on it and a handle, because I'm getting older. I don't have to lug this thing around. But one of the workarounds is getting like a luggage cart, one of those folding ones you could throw on your bunk, you know, and put this thing in there, wheel it around, get it to where you're going, offload it, you know. You can totally do that. But having to buy like an attachment to a several $100 tackle box, a little bit of a pain, but not the end of the world. You know, I know other guys told me getting into this thing, it's too big, but for longer trips, for a boat, I think it's a good deal. So those are my thoughts on the SKB Large. You know, I like it, not everybody likes it, but to each their own, if you will. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any tips or suggestions, or want to see some options for this thing, want to see me review some other stuff, anything like that, let me know in the comments. Shoot me a message, whatever. If you guys have questions about gear or any of that stuff, give me a shout. I'll do what I can to answer it, but no promises. So yeah, that's it. Again, I'm Joe. This is Pac Sportfishing, and we'll see you guys on the next one.